All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Seymour. I am the program manager for the Made in Baltimore program. We are a program of the Baltimore Development Corporation, which is our city's largest economic development agency. The work of Made in Baltimore is aimed at supporting and promoting makers and manufacturers here in Baltimore City and helping to grow the buy local movement in the Baltimore region. We offer business development services and resources to small batch manufacturers, makers, and retailers. We do this through programs like this workshop series. Today, we are joined again by the wonderful Kim Robinson to discuss marketing made easy and figure out how to use tactics to grow our businesses. We ask that you please remain muted through this presentation. We would love to see your beautiful faces. If you are comfortable, this is a safe learning space, so there is no such thing as a bad question. When you have a question, please quietly add it to the chat and it will be answered during scheduled Q&A segments. Do not feel pressured to keep up with note taking. Again, this workshop is being recorded and will be posted on our website at a later date. Thank you to our parent agency, Baltimore Development Corporation, and thank you to Kim Robinson, and thank you to all of our amazing participants for showing up because we cannot do this without you. And we love doing this for you. So with that, I will hand things off to Kim.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Shayla, for joining. Shayla is my cousin. I was not expecting to see her, so it's really cool to have family here supporting me, always great. And she also is a business owner, so this really applies to her. So it's a 2-for-1 for the both of us. So I had to give a shout out to my kin before we get started. So I'm Kim Robinson, and let me share my screen and we'll jump in. Okay, cool. And everyone can see my screen. Perfect. Okay. So this workshop is called Marketing Made Easy, How to Use Tactics to Grow Your Business. My name is Kim Robinson, as Brian said. And in this workshop, you're going to be taught what marketing tactics are, how to assess your tactics, and how to optimize them to achieve your business goals. Our objectives for this workshop are, I want you to have a clear understanding of what strategies and tactics are relating to marketing. I want you to properly assess your current marketing and tactics. I want you to feel empowered to be able to have that discussion, think about it in your head, and go forward with it. I want you to learn how to identify and pick the right marketing tactics for your business. I'm going to provide you with a document that you're going to be able to list out what your tactics are and have you think about it and start writing them out and figure out what could work for you. So this is our agenda for our workshop. So first I'll go into about me. I'll talk about myself. Then I will throw it to you because I'd love to know who you are, your businesses, and what you're looking to get out of this. We'll keep it short. We don't want to go on too long with it. Then I want to demystify marketing. Before I go into tactics, it's really important for me to really make sure we have a shared understanding of what marketing is, because it's a ton of misconceptions of what it is, and everyone brings their own experience, traumas, phobias, expectations of what they think it is. So it's really important for me to level set and, like I said, make it easy to understand and approach and empower you with confidence that you can go forward with doing it yourself and working with people to help you with your marketing. Then after that, we'll go into components of marketing, and I'll break down quickly some key components, which then brings us to tactics specifically and strategies. Then we're going to do a tactics deep dive where I'm going to explain tactics and get deeper into them, how to measure them, how to understand them, all the options available to you. Then I'm going to provide you with a case study to help you understand how a business just like yours uses tactics as a part to support their overall business objectives. The one thing I want to get across to you is most of us think of tactics as just this thing in the air, like, oh, I'm going to just get on Instagram or I'm going to do this thing. Tactics have no use for you, or they will not work for you if you're not thinking of the larger objective of a goal in mind that you're working towards. They are a tool. They are not the end all be all. It matters more about a lot of other things. It's just one component of a larger thinking. So that's something I want to get across to you. And then I want to help you assess and pick your tactics and just give you best practices on those. And then we'll have a tactics Q&A. One of my favorite things to do as a part of these workshops is to open it up and have a dialogue. As Brian said, this is really a safe space. I am not a consultant with a capital C who comes in who thinks they're better or knows more. I'm just like you. And I love it when people engage with me. It makes me feel enthused and I can give more to you because I really am here for you and care about your business and your ability to make it in the challenges that you face. So I'd love for you to be able to participate throughout this. Talk to me. There is no dumb question or answer, and feel free to just engage. And let's liven this up and make this not a workshop that you're like, oh my God, that was boring. This person just talked this entire time. So please, we're all in this together and we depend on each other to make this work. And then after that, I have a special offer that I'm going to throw out to everyone, and then we'll wrap. So this is me. I am Kim Robinson. I'm a marketing expert and coach, and I'm the founder of 3 Points, which I'll explain later. Before starting my business, I worked at Red Bull, I worked at Complex Media, I worked at the Fader Media, and I worked for 1,000 other companies through agencies and businesses I worked with. I currently do consulting for bigger companies on the side under just my name. Spotify, Patreon, doing a lot of things in culture because that's the space I come from, working in music, but it's within marketing specifically. My strengths, which I had to take this thing called a strengths finder at Red Bull, which I'd recommend to anyone. It's online, you pay $19 for it. It spits out your top 5 strengths, and it's really true. And it's almost like if you're into horoscopes and astrology, it's the same thing. It's just going to blow you away. Mine are ideation, restoration. I love to like fix things and make things back, bring them back and bring them to health and make them fully optimal. Not anything relating to cars or houses or anything. I'm the worst at that, so don't bring me into that world. But with people and things, it's my passion to help others and help them be the best that they can be. And that's why I do the work I do. Responsible. I'm highly responsible. Woo, winning others over. What you're hearing from me now in terms of who I am and the person I am, this is who I am. I'm positive. I'm happy. I'm outgoing. My cousin, who I just mentioned, could tell you this. She's known me all a good amount of time. There's nothing fake, and you're going to just hear from me. And I just have a positive way of going about it. And that kind of leads to my last strength. And then I'm from Baltimore. I'm from Cherry Hill. That's where I was born and raised. And then I left there. Whoop, whoop. I left there and I lived in Honolulu, grew up there, high school, and then I went to college in Sacramento. I currently live in Brooklyn, New York, in the Clinton Hill neighborhood. And like I said, arts and culture is a passion of mine, fitness, cooking, and people. So that's me. So another thing is I love marketing. And I'll explain to you why I love it and why you should think about it differently than why you think about it to help you understand it. But another part is I love to make marketing easy for small business to understand and benefit from. So that is like my business, what it does, and how I approach it. Give me one quick second here. So my business is 3 Points, which is a marketing resource for self-funded creative small businesses with limited resources. We empower bootstrap creative entrepreneurs with guided systems and communities so they can grow. So you can think of us as a one-stop shop of easily accessible online resources, guidance, and connections for creative small businesses looking to overcome resource network and bandwidth challenges so that they can grow. We make marketing easy for small business. I send out a newsletter, I host workshops, I do a lot of one-on-one help. I love connecting with people and bringing them to people. I'm not the end-all be-all of helping people. I like to connect them to other people who help people. And that's kind of the world that I'm building with 3 Points. And I send out a weekly newsletter that's really cool. I think you should sign up for it. So if you go to 3points.co, you will get things from me, just like I'm talking here. And I send it out each week. It is a lot of work, but it's so worth it because I hear a lot from people. A quick plea for everyone, a request. Brian already brought it up, but it's something that I like to ask everyone. I love for everyone to be on video if you're comfortable. When you do a lot of these, you start figuring out one is the loneliest number, and it's really kind of a bummer to talk to yourself and not see any people. So please, But if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine with me and we'll keep it moving. So on to you, about you. I love to hear from people. We don't have a ton of people in here. So what I'd like to do is kind of go around and ask people who they are and kind of hear from them about their business, something relating to tactics and what they're hoping to get out of the workshop. And let's keep it short. Don't want to go too deep into your history and background. I had a guy on a workshop yesterday who seriously kept us for 10 minutes. And we we're just like, come on, man. I was trying to pull out the wrap it up music from the Oscars, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't find it. Wrap it up, B. So, but let's go around the line, and I'd love to hear from you all. You can be as short as possible, but it's really important that I meet you because I want to hear from you. So does anyone want to jump in first, go into chat and say me first, or shall I just pick people? Because I can do that as well.
I can go first since I'm probably like the weirdest person probably here.
No,
Not
you're
the
not.
weirdest.
No, you're not, actually.
I'll show myself for like this one portion. Hi, I am currently a college student. I do technically product management, but a lot of my experience is in market research. So I'm trying to like out of this workshop gain more, knowledge in marketing. So I work here in an insurance company, and I'm just trying to like get anything extra to be able to help them throughout this time because I'm here for until December.
That's awesome. Marketing research is so critical. It's one of my favorite things, and we should connect because if that's an expertise of yours, I'd love to learn more about it. So cool, welcome. Who wants to go next? Go for it, Shay.
Hi, everybody. Actually, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Shayla. Sorry if y'all see my baby in the back jumping. I am the owner of Soulful Symmetry, and it's actually a holistic healing business. I specialize in Reiki healing and spiritual life coaching. A lot of my work is mostly community-based. So that's really where I get a lot of my client base from, being in the community, word of mouth, that sort of thing.
Perfect. Samantha, would you like to go next?
Hello, everyone. Sorry,
Hi.
I kept trying to tap in, but
All good.
everyone else was jumping in. I'm Samantha Montgomery. I own and make and design the Boutique Light. I make accessories, just clutches, wallets, and totes, and just other smaller things. I have been doing this for a little over a year. I became an LLC in March. And so right now, mostly what I'm using is Instagram for marketing. And so I just wanted to hear other strategies and tactics that I could use, that I could flow into that daily pattern of getting my business out there, but still growing naturally and not, I guess, overwhelming myself.
Totally. Makes sense. Love it. Thank you so much. Jean, I'm gonna head up.
Hi, I can't get my camera to work. I'm shy, I just can't get it to work. So I'm, my husband invented a type of shoestring that when you tie it, it stays tied. It's a patent pending product, and it has a lot of applications. We've had most success among athletics, and we are really doing a lot ourselves, and balancing our full-time jobs. So looking for any strategies that can help us grow the business at the same time, have some life balance. And we launched right before COVID, so it was a very challenging time. So we're kind of ramping back up again, and always open to new ideas, and also to network a little bit because we're looking for a domestic manufacturer rather than in China. So
makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. Sorry that my video is off, but I have kids eating lunch in the background, and they made me promise if I was to have this that they would not be visually on this.
No problem.
But I'm a little different. I run a nonprofit program, and it's called the Maryland Neighborhood Exchange. And we offer free services actually to businesses and social enterprises, and help them get investment capital. And I've been struggling with marketing, partially because we have very little money for marketing, but also just to come up with strategies that help us get the word out. I feel like as an entity that provides free services, like in some ways it should be easy, but it's really hard for us, or it's been hard for us to really ensure everyone, that could benefit knows about what we do. So I'm eager to learn and hopefully take some of the small business strategies and adapt them to a nonprofit.
Cool. Makes sense. Johanna, sorry.
No, you had it right the first time.
Okay.
Silent H. Hi, everybody. I'm Joanna, and I am a freelancing social media manager, actually. And I started doing that freelancing work this year, and so I'm always kind of on the lookout for, other people that have been here in the area or doing that work for longer to see if there's something I can learn about. And I usually work with small businesses and social impact organizations when they're ready to sort of outsource that to someone else and hand it over. That's kind of where I come in. So.
Makes sense. Andrea, are you with MIB or are you a business owner? I couldn't tell.
I'm a business owner, but okay. I mean, I'm not employed by Made in Baltimore, but I'm a
because you were on early and I wasn't sure and we didn't talk.
I just wanted to be on early because sometimes I forget these things. So I just want to make sure I was here. Yeah, so I am a business owner. I own a brand called Fly Nerd Apparel, which I'm not wearing today, but it's t-shirts, it's hand screen printed t-shirts, mugs, socks, all types of accessories. And I'm just here to learn more. I have a background in graphic design, but I just feel like my marketing be a little all over the place. So I'm just trying to, figure out some consistency, but a lot of my sales come through Instagram. I do a lot of vending and word of mouth. So
word. Perfect. Okay, and we'll wrap it up. We got Nina and Jordan. Nina, you want to go first?
Hi, I'm Nina. I work for Hunt's Honey, which is an employment program of the nonprofit Drink the Well in Baltimore and Curtis Bay. And I do graphic design and marketing for them. And I don't know, graphic design and more so marketing. It's like a change. It always changes all the time. And so just trying to continually learn and just try to learn more.
Love it. And Jordan.
Hi, I'm Jordan. Nina and I work together. So I also work for Hunt's Honey. It's a social enterprise of the nonprofit Drink at the Well, like she said, in Curtis Bay. It's home and body goods handcrafted by women survivors in the kind of Curtis Bay, Brooklyn area. We also do beekeeping and sell honey, and we have just harvested our latest harvest in the past few weeks, which is very exciting. I saw the email, and as Nina and I are about to sit down and get to the elbow grease of kind of like prepping for the holiday season, I was like, marketing made easy? Like, yes, we need to go to that. Like, definitely, because we're in the nonprofit world. I think a few different people said they work for nonprofits, or at least one did, but you wear many different hats. And so we're always wanting to learn as much as we can in the terms of marketing. Like Nina said, it's like always changing, and we always just want to kind of keep updated with, all of those good things. So thank you for having us.
Love it. Thank you. And thank you everyone for sharing and just being open to it. I really appreciate it. We're just creating some good energy, and I'm going to power through, and we'll try and hit it in the next 45 minutes that we have left here. So I'll come back to you at different points to ask some questions if anyone wants to chime in. So cool. So next, I'm going to demystify marketing. And now we all have our own different experience and knowledge of it. And like we've all said, it changes, but there are just still core fundamentals and principles to it. Tactics are tools and actions we take on behalf of marketing. And what is marketing? Marketing is not tactics. So I'm going to explain to you the difference, and I'm going to start big and wide, and then we're going to get tighter and tighter onto tactics so you can understand and have a language to work with, so you're just more consistent and you feel comfortable with it. So this is almost like Men in Black, if you saw that movie where they put up that thing and just erases your mind. This is what I'm looking to do based on your previous connotations of it and starting you off the beginning to where it's at now. So what is marketing? A lot of people would say, first thing they'd say is advertising. Some people would say social media. They would just throw out a lot of different things of just tactic-based things. And why is marketing important? I have people of, you probably thinking it's important because that's, I have to get the word out. I have to promote my business. That's how it survives. And those things are all true. But there's a deeper reason why it's important and what marketing does. And what does it do? As I said before, these are the 3 questions that I like to start off and have people think about to kind of give you a new way of thinking about it. So marketing is the activity and processes for communicating offerings that are of value to customers and society at large. It is the way we communicate how our ideas translate to value for people in the marketplace. It's simply communicating. It's talking. And technology has made it that you now have other means to communicate with people, but in the end, it's a message of value communicated to people who are looking for that value or maybe not looking for that value. So we need to remember that it's an exchange. It's in a dialogue of offerings that you have something and maybe someone is looking for it. And you've been on the other side as well, where you're looking for something and someone is communicating it with you. And it's important because no matter what you want to accomplish personally for a nonprofit, for a personal thing, something within your family, or with a business that's a for-profit business, communicating with and reaching people is your answer. That is it. We know this. A church ain't a church unless it has a congregation. A cult ain't a cult unless it's got people following them. Anything is not a thing unless it's got people who are helping to power it along, because it's by itself at that point. So I think of it that we use marketing to help others solve their problems, create value for them, provide joy, bring value, bring people together and more. Marketing is not, it has such a bad rap of snake oil salesmen, advertising, people tricking people, people blurring you with commercials. That is an element of it, but in its essence, it is someone providing you with something and doing value for you that helps you on your journey through life. And what does it do? It makes change happen. It makes a promise. Marketing says, here's what I'm going to do for you, and this is what you will get out of it. And it makes things better for people. It helps people solve their problems. And most importantly, it transforms people. People are looking for change. MBA programs for schools use this all the time because they understand that people are on a journey of, they want more money, they want to improve their career, they want to have a better life for their family. So they communicate the value of, here's you at the end, here's you with your family, here's you in this new job, because it's about understanding that transformation. And you may say, well, my product's not transforming people. Even if you're helping on one little element of what your product provides to people, it transforms, because even if they buy your product and it has a deeper story, they're contributing to something that they believe in. We only buy into things we believe in, and that's what it is. So the tactics are the means to get in front of them and touch them, but marketing as a whole is this larger effort of communication. And it's a tool. That's all it is. And when you start thinking of it as tool in your toolbox, you can then not think that oh, well, Instagram's what I got to do. You don't have to do Instagram to have a successful business. You can, and it's something that's vital in a lot of sense, but it's not mandatory. Marketing is a lot of different tools, and it's your tool to use how you want for your business. So as I said before, marketing is not advertising, it is not influencers. These are just an aspect of it. It is changing people and helping them eliminate problems and find the things that they're looking to find in their lives. So it does not require budget. A lot of people are like, what? I thought it requires budget. No, it doesn't. If you just a person on the corner talking to people, building relationships, that is marketing. It doesn't require budget, it requires your time. It can be scaled and amplified with a budget. It's not just advertising. It's not just social media. It's done by everyone. When a mother tells her child when they're young, eat your beans because you're going to grow up strong, that is marketing. That is someone trying to communicate a behavior to get someone to take action that we think will help them. So it's not about tricking, it's about how you communicate with people and do that. It's a practice, and it's something that when you understand it, that it's not something of like, I gotta go and market. It's like, no, this is something that we do because we, as a part of producing our product, we're talking to people about it and educating them, which is another form of marketing. It's not a waste of money. It requires intent, attention, time, and patience. It does not need to be planned or executed by someone who's a marketing professional. Don't let any of these gurus or any of these big time people out here convince you that they have to like do things for you and you're not capable of it. If you empower yourself, you can do this work. And a lot of you have for the work you're doing. You're already doing it right now. And there's help you can always hire along the way. But the point is that it always seems like a mountain so difficult for people. Like, how can I do this? You're already doing it. You just don't know. And that's what I put here at the beginning, at the end. So examples of marketing, as I said, advice or recommendations for friends and family. When someone says, you know, a good doctor or what's a good place to eat, that is marketing because you're doing word of mouth naturally. A conversation with a stranger, promotions, like of course, price promotions, inviting or bringing someone to a community event. That's why the Avon lady back in the day was a big deal. That was community-based marketing. That's all it was. IRL markets, a lot of you vend. So that's it. Educating people, sharing with others, communicating who you are verbally or through other means. Asking someone to do something for a cause is marketing. A flyer or a sign, audio, written content is just to explain just how like it goes. It's so wide. It's telling someone to vote for someone that you think will make a difference nationally, locally. These are all things that are a part of it. So you should care about it because it's how you help others and change their lives for the better. And it's because people forget quickly. We have a lot of things happening in our world. It's a 24/7 attention economy where things are quickly forgotten about. It strengthens your identity. There's a lot of brands and products that you buy that when you buy it, it fulfills who you see yourself as. And it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger than who you are. And it does the same thing for that brand because then it's not as much about the product. It's about this larger community that we're part of, and we're all creating this change together and becoming better people. The product is the center of it, but in the end, it's bigger than that product. And it's essential for survival and growth. And it's how you build community, which I brought up early. Marketing enables you to keep your customers because if you don't continue to talk to people and educate, other people will, and it's easy for them to forget about you. Marketing within a team maintains morale so well that if you are out there and communicating, people feel proud. When I worked at Red Bull, even if you don't like the product, everyone was proud because we talked about these bigger mission and things we want to accomplish. And while you may think, oh, that's hokey, it really helped people like feel like they were part of something bigger than them. And that's what humans want. If you feel like you don't have purpose, then you're not part of something. And that's what marketing provides. So your marketing gives you an advantage over others who aren't doing it and who aren't thinking about it. So we're going to play a quick little game of components of marketing Jeopardy. And I'd like for people to, whoever's got the answer, to type it into the chat. And we have five answers, and you're going to answer them in the form of a question in the chat. So a thing aimed at or sought. What is that? Come on, come back. There we go. Anyone got an answer there? No, not a customer, unfortunately. Anyone else wants to take a thing that's aimed at or sought, something that I'm looking to do? No, not a product or not what it, I love that you all are putting it in the what is a, what you call it? No, not the answer is an objective or a goal. So this is something that you are aiming at or seeking. I have an objective, I'm reaching for it. A specific approach that you take to achieve an objective that you have defined. What would the question be for that? Close. Close, Shayla. Next one. You're right next to it. Oh, give someone else. You got it. What is the strategy? Boom. The specific actions you will take as part of a strategy to achieve objectives. So these are the steps. These are the specific things that you're doing. Boom, you got it. Tactics. So we got our objective, our strategy, and our tactics. And these are the components of marketing. Now, these last two are going to be a little tricky. A means to communicate with people. Think about television or radios. What do those have? that is an example of what this question is. Not media, close. Media is and I'll bring in the answer. It is a channel. So your mouth is a channel. Standing on a corner yelling at people is a channel. Advertising on TV is a channel. Having someone speak on your behalf or mention your product or service is a channel. And then the last one, tools you use in your communication with people. So for example, I, in communicating with people, provide people who promote something for me with images. I provide them with language to use. What would that be called?
Content?
Yes, content is the answer, but there's an overall phrase for all of these things. Yes, you got it. Of course, a social media person knows it. Assets. Of course, of course, of course. So objectives, strategies, tactics, channels, and assets. These are very important to delineate and have you understand because people always get strategies and tactics mixed up. So you have an objective. You have your strategy, your channels, your tactics, and your assets. These all support your objective. And what I want you to remember here is that marketing is a tool to support your objectives. So you should always think of it as like, I want to debut a new product, or we want to get more people to know about our service or blank. Well, how can marketing solve that? And you do it by creating a strategy, identifying channels, identifying tactics, and then developing assets to use in your tactics and strategies. So your strategy is your overarching approach that informs how you use your tools. So if I said, so I did a project in Chicago around a bunch of music events, and it was really community-based. And we said, we're going to work with the community and find ways to allow them to create content to promote the event. That was our strategy. So then what were our tactics going to be? Well, we can do PR where we can get people in the community who revolve around some of these music scenes, get them coverage in the local alt newspaper or local magazines or local newspaper or local bloggers, or we had them create content, do poems that were put on the Red Bull website. So these are all tactics, and we had different channels to get those out. Sometimes the tactics and the channels are the same things because like Instagram is social media, but the channel is social media is a tactic. Instagram is a channel to get out there. So, and then assets are, hey, someone drew something, or here's the copy. So this is the hierarchy you need to always think of it. And it's really important to throw this out because someone would just come in here and say, here's a bunch of tactics for you. You got email marketing, you got social media marketing, you got all these things. But if you don't know how to frame it and understand how to approach putting it in the right pieces, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. And like a lot of you said, feel like you don't have control or a plan of things. So this is what this hierarchy is going to give you. Always start with an objective. And it's really difficult to do that because it's scary sometimes, but you can't ask tactics to work for you unless you have an objective that they're working towards, because then you're just doing things aimlessly. One quick second. So here's an example of a vintage clothing seller at a vending market that they said, our objective is we want to increase our sales by 10% over the summer. And then they said, well, our strategy is going to promote our business to target customers where they gather IRL and online. And we know our channels, the best places to reach them are the universities where they're at, clubs, A bunch of them are in Facebook groups through their friends and at the markets that they go to. And what are the assets we're going to use? As the founder of a business, you are an asset because you're putting yourself out there and connecting with people. And majority of the time for all of your business, the founder is typically the best asset because you embody your brand, you speak it, you're the je ne sais quoi. Like, people love meeting people who are that brand. The photos are an asset. Your brand logo is an asset. If you do a price promotion, like a buy one, get one free, that is an asset. These are tools that you use in your channels to get out to people. Your customers can be assets. So let's say like you have a customer you love that does things. I think I've seen Shayla do stuff like this on her social media where she presents other people who she's done work with and allow them to tell their stories. So it's other people going out there saying, here's who I am and here's how I worked with Shayla, speaking on her behalf, which is more powerful than her speaking about herself. So it's more important when someone else. So you can use customers as an asset and just have that be your entire tactic base where you don't have to, you can then plop them into any tactic you want. Products, of course, your product, but most people lean so much in their product that it's almost like too much, where that's all they do is just promote their product when there's other things that you can use to promote your product. Flyers, other things. So tactics are, this is the tactics they decide to use. Price promotions, loyalty program, own channel promotions. So their own channels, their website, their social media. They're going to make campus flyers, and then they're going to work out deals with other people to promote them in a timely basis. So now let's go into a tactics deep dive. So these are only some of the tactical options for your business, because most people are like, yeah, social media is it. It is not it. There's a lot of things that are organic and free. I would not recommend doing all of these things. It's the thing to think about is like a surgeon, that even with social media, there's different ways and different channels, specific tactics within it that may make sense for you. Maybe Pinterest makes more sense for your audience in building a business model there, or LinkedIn if it's B2B and you're trying to find the donor class, or it really depends on your customer and it depends on that insight. Because it's going to help you fish where the fish are. So tactics, again, speak to that larger thing of supporting your objectives. You're not just picking tactics for tactics' sake or what you know. And that's why I want to let you know about all these things. So seeing all these tactics is like overwhelming. It's like, Jesus, like, what do I do with all this? Like, well, PESO is here to the rescue. And PESO stands for paid, earned, shared, and owned. These are the different ways you can bucket up tactics. And I learned this at Red Bull, and it was a game changer for me in terms of how to speak about tactics and think about them. So paid means paid. That means you pay someone to promote you, be it you pay someone to put an ad for you in a newspaper, on social media. You pay an influencer to talk about you. You pay anyone to talk about you. It's paid. Earned means that you do such a good job and you stand out that people talk about you. The newspaper wants to do an interview with you. Someone who runs a blog wants to talk about you. A YouTuber who has a vlog wants to feature you in their content. These are things where, because you are just like doing your thing and out there, people are identifying with you and checking you out. Shared is kind of the same thing as earned for the most part, because earned means traditional PR placements where you say, hey, the Sun wrote about me and it's on the website right now. Shared means that anyone online just mentions you in their social media saying, I love this song, I love this product, I love this thing, or it could be a partner or a community group who mentions you. So it's where your marketing is organically shared and amplified. And a lot of times you can proactively make earned and shared happen, but these things also happen without you even asking for it. Your businesses have been mentioned, have been talked about without you instigating or getting things started. Paid is something that you instigate. Then owned is marketing in your channels that you control. You own the data, meaning your website, your newsletter, your podcast, anything that you control, that you create the content and put out there yourself, is owned. So PESO, paid, earned, shared, and owned. And that's how you bucket tactics and should think of them. So this is a lot, but this kind of shows you how Peso works and how there are all a lot of different aspects of it. There's so many different things about it that I love and how it goes. But like I said, earned and shared are basically the same, where if you get media to talk about you, or you get influencers to talk about you, or you get other businesses to like talk about you that are adjacent to you, any mention is valuable to you because it's getting your message and your brand out there to people. Do you participate in a community, a community of people who care about the same things you care about? For them to talk about you on their Facebook page, their private DM groups, those are all critical. Partnerships with different groups, different people. Shared media just means like anyone online who's not even a celebrity, just normal or celebrity, or anyone who says, I love blank product. This is big. And then own media, as I said, is all these other channels that you own that you can talk to people through. So how should you think about these in terms of pros and cons? So for paid is great because if you have money, you can make it get out there and sing and like get the work out there. It guarantees exposure for your message. It's fast, but the cons are that when the money turns off, the promotion turn off, and then no one's talking about you, no one cares. So it's and then understand this, that does advertising really work on you? When you see advertising, do you really click on things throughout the day and say, oh, that advertising, I want that product? No, you typically don't. We're all really, we're all just numb to advertising and we ignore it. So it's not as strong as you think. It's an easy solve. It's almost like a sugar high that people want, and it's the most like popular thing and people think it's the best. It's not. It has its advantages, and it has its place in time. But for your group, the thing I would say is earn, shared, and own would be my priority. The thing that's great about earned is that overall, it is having someone who is a third party, who is an authority, vouch for you. So if I ran a tiling business, and to have a decor magazine that speaks to all these graphic interior designers who buy tiles for their corporate clients, say, Kim's tiles are great, and here's how we use this for a job, that's huge. Because if I go to those people and say, my stuff's great, people care more about what other people say about you, not what you say about you. So it's important that you have other people vouching on your behalf. That's why a cosign is big. That's why in rap music, people have to get cosigns before they come out with an album, because Eminem coming out by himself in 1999 wouldn't have been the same as Eminem co-signed by Dr. Dre in his videos. So it's a normal thing. Cosigns are a thing. So think of earned as a cosign and that capacity. But the difficulty with it is it's hard to drive direct value where you can get direct clicks and conversions and sales from earned. Think of earned as like a halo effect, where if you get all this coverage from people, it gives you a reputation and people look at your brand and be like, yo, they're cool. They rock with like the right people. But typically when people are reading articles, it's not that often that they then go and then buy from that person. So it's really like something to complement, and gives you that opportunity. And then if they mention your stuff in social media, a business does or something like that, that can help. A media company, that can help you possibly with conversions. But think of it as more like it gives your brand credibility in the eyes of people who matter the most and allow you to get into the space and really activate in a critical way. Shared is great because that's people like your friends and your family. This is word of mouth. This is literally someone telling you, I love blank, or someone tweeting or posting in their stories, this product, this service is great. And it's done because you did such a good job, or they love your product so much that they said it casually or they said it on purpose. A lot of businesses are like, I want to get people to do it, so I give them all these prompts. It's great that you do that, but how often do you, when a business says, thanks for buying this product, can you tweet or post and tell your friends about it? Majority of you don't do it. I don't do it. So we have to find ways to give people an opportunity to do it without asking them to do it. And there's tactics and ways to do that. So shared is important because this is the most high level of trust from just general people. I'm not going to a mechanic unless someone tells me to go to that mechanic. So that's where shared tactics really work. And then owned is great because it's your voice. It's your way to talk to people and share things. This is through your social media, through your podcast, through your website, and getting the word out. So that's the way to think about these things. And now I'm going to give you a case study of a business called North Brooklyn Ceramics. So it's a ceramics business and it's owned by Christine. And it's 2 years in business and they have $350,000 in sales a year. And she has one freelancer that helps her manage her product shipping. Her sales channels are she vends, she's on Etsy, and she sells to a few local wholesalers in Brooklyn. And her mission and vision are set. She knows what she's working on and what her mission is for her business. She's identified her target customer and she's really specific on that. And she's got her business and marketing objectives set. And her business goal is to increase holiday sales to be able to hire help in 2022. The goal is a business goal. It is not marketing. It's not get more followers. It's not any of those things. It's to use the channels and the tactics to help her achieve her business goal. Again, the tactics and marketing serve your business goal. I love marketing, but marketing works in service to the business. It's like the queen on a chessboard. You know, it moves everywhere, but it's not the king. So this is her plan. So she's saying she's going to increase her sales by 10% in Q4, meaning the holiday season. She's going to use the holiday season to boost her sales by 10%. And how's she going to do that? By marketing. She knows that she has to get more people to buy from her website and buy from her in person. So she needs to increase her traffic to her website in her traffic where people buy from her. So she has that data. She can look on her back end of her website and see, I have 1,000 people who come here now. I need 250 more people to come here throughout the quarter, just so I can make sure it gives me the best chance that I can increase my sales. So her strategy is she's going to use every thing that she can do to drive customers to her website in her market, because that's where it's at. So as you notice, it ladders up. As we said before, we're not just doing tactics to do them. So this is long in terms of what her tactics are. Your tactics could be just one thing to simplify it for yourself. One thing that's really crucial, I wanted to just give you an example to show you the different ways to do it, but do not think that you have to do everything. It's actually probably better that you do one or two things that are most impactful, that drive business. Doing things that are cool and fun, creative is one thing, but you need to make sure that it shows that it drives results for you. So she's going to use some money and pay some local bloggers, newsletters, and get them to mention her in their newsletter or provide them with creative. For her earn tactics, she's going to reach out herself to like local home decor outlets and try and get them to interview her or get her product seeded to them and hopefully get articles written about her. She started a customer loyalty program where she wants to incentivize her customers through free product to talk about her and get the word out about her. And then she's going to do some shared stuff where she's just going to try and get people to talk about her on social media through partnerships. And then she has her own channels, which is her email, which she's going to post out content. She's going to do some how to make ceramics videos. She has events that she does where she sells and she wants to get more engagement from those. So maybe she'll find some new markets she's going to get to. And then she has website content that she's going to produce. So like I said, this is a lot of stuff. And then you have your KPIs to the right, which is a whole nother thing we can get into another time. But these are the things that she's looking at to say, is this working or is this not? If you're not establishing and saying, hey, I want to have one per month of what I'm paying for, or for my paid, or I want to get 2 media placements per month. That's setting a goal for these individual things. Then how is she going to hold herself accountable and stay consistent? So that's what this is. And that's why it's really important to build a plan. And that's what she does. So here's a really simple example outside of marketing. So let's say like I was someone looking to be healthy and I said, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of the year. My strategy is to work out a minimum of twice a week. Then I'm saying my tactics are yoga, weight training, walking, and I'm going to eat healthy. And then here's my KPIs. Yoga, I'm going to do it once a week. I'm going to weight train once a week. I'm going to walk twice a day, and I'm going to eat vegetarian meals 3 times a week. So it's the same thing. You can apply this to anything in terms of life, this flow that what I'm teaching you. So don't get caught up in wow, all these numbers and tactics. It's the same thing in how you can apply to change your life in any capacity. So now that we have talked about that, I wanted to talk about some of your tactics, but we're running tight on time and I want to get through the rest of this last part and we can talk about it towards the end. So when you're assessing and picking your tactics for your business, why should you do it? It's because it's going to make your marketing more impactful and efficient to reach your goal. Maybe the things you're doing are cool and work, but maybe it's not actually driving conversion. So you say like, how can I do this different? Or how should I think about doing this different? Or should I scrap this entirely and do something else that benefits me? Because you could find other things. And it's, again, not about money. It's about where the opportunity lies, where your time is, and where and what you feel comfortable doing. You could find an opportunity to grow your business. So I'm not on social media for my business. I will be in the future, but my business, I found out the best opportunities for me are doing things like this, where I engage with people, meet people directly. To manage a social media account for me, I know requires, I would want to have 3 to 4 posts a week. I would want to have like certain themes, verticals. I want to have it dialed. I want to do it right or not do it at all. So I can't do it all. So what can I do? I'm going to do things that bring the most impact and create the best opportunities for my business. So I do a lot of events. Event marketing works best for me, and it's all I can do. And then I send out an email newsletter to people as well. And it helps me save all my resources and bandwidth. I'm not chasing all the tactics or thinking I have to do other things. It just depends on what you do. And then you're going to feel in control, and you're going to feel and be in control of your destiny if you assess and optimize your tactics. So every few months, just look at them and say, what are we doing here? What are we getting out of this? So here's some best practices and advice. Like I've said before, your tactics should be part of a larger strategy that supports your specific business objectives. If your tactics are not laddering up to a strategy that you have in mind, is not supporting that, then you need to reevaluate that. You need to pick tactics based on your customer, what makes them convert and drive sales, and where the opportunities exist. The best question you can ask yourself is, what has been the best means of getting customers so far? And you could say, well, social media, that could be it. But could it be that like you've had a lot of strong word of mouth? Is it that when you've done events with people that more people have signed up and that's how you've built new relationships? Or it's because you've gotten press, or you've gotten people to mention you online, or when you create content that a lot of people engage with it and it makes people like you and rock with you? You have to think about that stuff and say, where is the value coming from, and be honest with yourself and maybe focus on that. Explore and diversify your tactics, and don't just settle for what everyone else does. The reason why Instagram frustrates people I work with, love and hate it, is because everyone's on it. And what that means is, that means everyone's on it, but it also means everyone's on it. And it's no longer a unique channel where you can monopolize. So what if I told you that if you could find a group online through Facebook, and I know Facebook, that you were like, hey, this group is your customer and it's 1,000 of them, and you can speak directly to them and build a relationship with them. I would tell you that that group of 1,000 people on Facebook is 1 billion times more valuable to you than posting into the ether on Instagram, hoping that you're going to beat out Drake, Kim Kardashian, in the world that's out there competing against you. So it's really about finding unique channels that are going to give you the best chance to monopolize being in front of your customer. So let's think of me, and there are other people who do what I do. I'm monopolizing because I'm talking to you right now. I'm not going out there trying to win your attention online when there are 1,000 other things that are going to get your attention. So where can you, small is good because it gives you the opportunity to zoom in and focus and build a relationship with people who are rocking with you, and you're able to rock with them. And then collect, segment, and keep your customer data up to date. I cannot speak on this more highly. It's not about you doing anything nuts. It's about you just saying, this person's name, address, email, if I have that, great. but here's where they came from. Here's what they bought, or here's what they like. And having that information allows you to segment people that some people want a different message than other people. The goal is to provide people with, is to provide the right message to the right person at the right time. And the only way you can do that is by segmenting and just organizing your data. However you look to organize your data is your contacts. That's all it is. It's nothing more. Don't let the word data throw you off or make you have to think you have to go into something deeper. It's who are your contacts, and write a few things in it that helps you disseminate what makes them specific to your business so you can properly use them and market to them. Earned media matters no matter who or where it's coming from. I think earned media is so important. If you can get a local blogger or someone who is on the internet in any capacity anywhere in the world to say, I like your stuff, or to talk about you, that's huge. If Made in Baltimore sends out a newsletter to a bunch of people and it says Kim Robinson is hosting a what you call it, that's shared because it's a partner, it's not media. That's huge though. But if I do work in a journalist just reached out to me and asked me to answer some questions. And it's for like this small thing for Linktree, their editorial program. And it's not going to be seen by like probably more than 100 people. But guess what? Those 100 people really matter because it's my customer. So anybody who reaches out to you, be it small or high, low, go for that opportunity. Any mention is good for you. So were you going to say something, Andrea?
I have a question. So
yeah, go for it.
About like shared and earned, and then I guess this might be paid, because sometimes, you know, some influencers want money.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask, like, how valuable is those kind of opportunities? 'Cause I've had success more so when I've gifted my stuff, because I've been blessed to have Kadeem Hardison wear one of my shirts, and then he wore it on Unsung, but that was like completely organic, so it wasn't like any type of agreement.
That's like shared, perfect,
Right,
or
right.
earned. You earned that because your product.
But is it beneficial if it's an influencer that is, say my target customer follows them, is it beneficial to pay, or is it like that's not something like?
Here's my thing. I've been doing influencer marketing for about 10 years in different levels when I worked at Complex, and I worked for a bunch of different other businesses. The issue with influencer marketing is this: if the people reaching out to you are pitching you and saying, pay me, do they truly rock with your product in your movement and what you're doing? The value should be aligned, that they care and love what you do so much that they want to do it without the money. Because it's more about like, yo, sister, what you're putting on and what you rock with and what your brand stands for, I care for it. Now, of course, people should get paid, but I just think the problem is that so many influencers, how is your promotion going to stand out from someone else who's they're doing it with? So if they're doing it with every single person, as someone who follows them, I'm just like, that's one of their bags that they're just getting. Why do I care? So you want them to be authentically, it's almost like a relationship. Someone is really into you or someone just wants to get with you. You know the difference. So make it someone who wants to be with you, not someone just trying to have a one-night stand. I'm sorry to say it like that, but you know what I mean, right? Shayla's cracking up. I know. It's all good. But I really mean it that way, because it's really, the point is organic and not transactional. So you really want it to be that someone says, wow, I've been seeing what you've been doing. You speak to a lot of things I care about. And I see on your channel a lot of things you care about. We're the same. Can we collaborate? Do you want some free product? Blah, blah, blah. But if the conversation starts off with, hey, I like your stuff. Can you give me some money and I'll promote it? Then you know it's transactional. You can pay for it, but are you truly going to get benefit from it that people are going to feel organically? Because people buy from their friends and people that influence them when they truly feel it's authentic to them and that it's authentically being mentioned. Cool.
Thank you. That's a great point. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Use peso across your marketing. So one thing that you could do to mix them up. So let's say like you decide you're only going to do a shared approach, that you're going to just find people online that when they mention you, you're going to just search. And if people reference your product or people mention it, that then you're going to talk about it on your social media, or you put it on your website. So you can cross-pollinate across Facebook. So it's like you do pay for advertising in a newsletter, or you pay an influencer. You should put that post from that newsletter, that influencer, on your channel. Or if you get a mention in a local Instagram account, or someone who's popular newsletter or something, you can put that in any of your other things. A really cool tactic is, let's say like you create content, a podcast or a white paper or an article that people really like. I think that's something you should consider maybe putting some money behind and paying to promote and get out there further, because you're getting content that has already been vetted, that people love, and now you're just amplifying it. So think of advertising as a way to open up the blinds and make something bigger, not to start something out. So if you get press that's big, you could do Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising to let the world know, hey, we got advertising here with this group, and share the article, because then you're promoting the cosign, not saying my product directly. So there's just different ways, and you need to give people different looks. Establish KPIs to measure your effectiveness of your tactics. And then find unique channels, which I talked about that your competition is not on. Our age today with technology makes it that everyone who is your competitor is where you're at. I DJ, I have friends who are photographers. You know how many times I hear people say, everyone's a DJ, everyone's a photographer, everyone's blank. Yeah, everyone is. So if you're gonna be where everyone is, how do you expect that you're gonna stand out when everyone's there? So what are the unique channels in places where you could meet people online or offline that you could do your marketing in that will provide value and make it that you have 100% share of voice? This is something that is a little math, a little tricky, but if you want to understand how your marketing and the value is, you need to do ROI. And ROI is simple, that you take how much you made from something. If you can show that you made money from your marketing, how much you spent, and then divide it and then multiply it by 10. So if I spend $1,000 on marketing and I make $500 from it, my ROI is 50, which means that for what I spent, I got half of it back. So for every dollar I spent, I got back 50 cents. That's not good. You always want it to be 1 for 1 minimum. And if it's even 1 for 1, then sometimes it's not worth it. And how do you determine how to get where your money came from? That's specific to your work and what you do. It works easily with advertising because you'll see how it tracks back and forth with advertising. But a good way to show it is if you have it in you can track from your newsletter that if people buy, you'll see that they clicked and buy this. So this is more digital marketing, like best practices and due diligence. There's these things called UTM tags and a bunch of other things that are used in social media advertising, that if you use a certain link and you attach it to things, so if you pay an influencer to promote for you, or people share something, that link can tell you where it drove customer conversion. So it's tricky how you do it, but this is the formula of how you do it if you know or can assess or gather money that you've made from marketing. So because it should be able to make you money, and that's a key part of it, but just how you attribute and dig in and find where it's at is a little tricky in terms of how your business is set up. And then the other one is customer acquisition costs, where your total marketing costs is divided by your customers acquired. So if you know that you acquired a certain amount of customers and it costs you a certain amount, you divide it, and then you have your customer acquisition costs. So this is how much each customer costs me to acquire. And this means that they bought something from me, or they signed up for my newsletter or something along those lines. But it typically, it's about your budget and how many people are acquired depending on what your metric is of acquiring them, being that they signed up for a newsletter or they bought product. And it's a great way to measure your long term. This is short term, where you can say, if I said, okay, I'm going to pay 3 newsletters locally that I know that reach a bunch of people in the fashion industry to promote my apparel. And I'm going to give them photos, I'm going to give them copy, and they're going to do a sponsored section. And then I'm going to give them a special UTM link that links out. So then I'm going to be able to see how many people clicked on that link and then went and bought product. And then from there, I'm going to be able to see what that specific tactic did from a money perspective. Like, how much did it make me? Did I make my money back or did I lose money? This one is long-term, where it sees over amount of time how much you use for that. So I'm going to give you all a worksheet that you can fill out in your own time to help you on your journey. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. And this is going to help you evaluate your tactics that you have, and just ask yourself key questions. I put in the best questions that I could to just help you like think about it, because like I said, it's more about seeing like, hey, is this working? Is it not working? And asking yourself those questions. It's not about throwing something away, but if you ask the questions and you're aware and you set intentions, then you're in a way better spot than other people, because then you're like just doing things aimlessly without knowing or thinking about it. So I just dropped it into the tab, and I'll also share it with Brian after, and he can email it out. I put it in the group chat, so you can find it there as well. So that'll get you on your way. So when you go to this, you're gonna have to download it and save it to your Google Drive, because it's one document and I don't want one person writing in it and then everyone else can't write in it. So download it and use it for yourself. And I also have a marketing plan in there too, the examples that I shared with you, that you can see the ceramics business and how they built a plan. And then you can literally take that template and make it work for you. Go for it.
How often should like we revisit the plan, or like look at it and like assess like the return on investment and things like that?
Great question. So for your actual tactics, if you're testing something because you're just trying it, I would check it in real time. But let's say like you decide you have all your tactics and you're going to like then execute them. I would say check them on a weekly basis in terms of assessing them, and then quarterly do the big thing. So every 3-4 months, check them, assess, and have that conversation, look at questions like this and check it out. So I do it maybe 4 times a year for your overall strategy and tactics. But let's say like someone comes to you and they say, hey, we have this, this local magazine and you want to put an advertisement in there for $50, and you're like, cool. You assess that immediately, because that's something that's kind of just starting for you, you know?
Thank you.
No problem. So we're in a good place right now. So we'll do a tactics discussion before we go to that, because I know we're tight on time. And I have time if anyone wants to keep talking after. But my special offer, then when we get done, is that if you sign up for 3points.co, my website, you go to it, it's a landing page, and fill it out. And you fill out your tactics template. You want to email me to set up an appointment, and I'll sit with you for 30 minutes, because the next step is, once you kind of put this stuff, talking tactics is where it gets deeper in terms of like, why should we focus on email? Or should we think about SEO? Because SEO is great, because if people are thinking about something or Googling it, then you're there. And that's, you could do it where you just optimize your site to find it, or different things. So the tactics, like real deep dive into all your options in those things are there. There's so many different ways you can go about it. But if you think of paid, earned, shared, and owned, you already have it figured out about the different ways you can go about it. And it all depends on your like option there. So sign up for the website, fill out that template. And then once you're done, if you want, I'll speak to you, do a free 30-minute conversation with you, and we'll be good to go. So we are at time, but I did want to open up for a discussion. If everyone wanted to talk. Brian, I'll bring it to you. What do you think?
I think we have a little bit of time for some question and answer.
Okay, cool. That works. So that's my end. Okay, anyone questions? Want to? We can open it up. Andrea, you can keep going if you just want to ask more questions.
I didn't want to be like taking all
I'm
the
always that person in class.
overtime.
I'm always that person in class, and I always felt like weird. But if you want to get the value, get the value. If everyone else feels good, they do.
So my question is, okay, so in the last year, so I do a lot of like my new customers and how people recognize my brand is because I've been vending like crazy. You know, my business 8 years old in this month. So I've been vending like crazy, but then of course the pandemic. So I wasn't doing any vending. So I was focusing on online. Like I said, I tried different things. I feel like I could have got more traction if I was consistent, but I tried like IG lives, they were good. Reels, I did get like traction with that. And what's the other thing I was doing? I was doing lives, like interviews, like conversation with other makers.
So you're doing your own work. There you go.
Right. But the consistency is the issue. So
Consistency is always the issue.
my question was, well, I guess because everybody got t-shirt brands. So are those kind of things that would differentiate me from other like brands where people would be interested in my brand versus another?
Yeah. So the first things first, before we get into that, the consistency is key. But I think it's great that you're testing out different things. The first question I have for you is, of these things that you did, even if they're not consistent or you just did them one-off, what seemed to deliver the best results that people either like engaged with the content or engaged with your brand, they signed up for your newsletter or they bought something from you? What seemed to deliver or create the most like energy for your business?
I guess so. Last November, I did get I got a grant through. It was a Baltimore organization. I can't think of the name of it. But they gave out like $2,000 grants for small businesses. So I used a great portion of that for inventory, but then they also connected me with a young lady who helped me put together Instagram pop-up virtual live thing, like around like before Black Friday, but around like November. So that that got like, I did really well with that kind of like promoting it. Like, well, she did the work, but I noticed that when it was like a set date and like, you know, there was build up to it, there's going to be new products, and then I released them on that day, and then I had a sale for like 24 hours after the Instagram live, or it's Facebook. Might be Facebook and Instagram, I can't remember. Sales from that event. Now, the other ones I did with Instagram live pop up. So I had like the clothes there, I was showing products and things like that. That one, I didn't promote it as much. So I did make money. I feel like the virtual pop-ups, they did actually get like, okay, they got sales, and then, you know, and it was profitable.
So virtual pop-up, meaning you did QVC style live shopping in your space where it was merchandise. You talked about the product, you engaged, you did a show for like a half an hour or a little bit more, and that got you traction.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you produced the event and like website. She helped you with getting it set up, but like getting your space, merchandise and set up, you got that all set up, and she kind of set up like the technical stuff for you or something?
Yeah. And then she was also like on the live. So as I was presenting, she was on the live making sure that people
comments
were getting the website, that they were getting the you know, the code,
community manager.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that was very helpful. That was the part. Yeah.
So I think you kind of answered the question about like, if that is something that did really well for you, maybe you should look to invest in that again for this upcoming holiday season. And if it did well, maybe you invest a little bit more into it, not a lot, but just a little bit more, bring someone in to help you with community, because that tactic seems to already be a winner for you. I like, and it's an own channel tactic because it's your own content you're producing, but it's also creating just energy around your brand, and you're just having this dialogue. And why that's such a great tactic is that you're putting your best asset forward, which is you talking about your product, why it matters. Whereas when you put it out in the wild and you're not there, it's going to struggle on its own, because what does it matter? Seeing you
Right.
connects us to the t-shirt and makes us want to buy it. So
Right.
I consider that. And then to your question of, I think that that kind of thing makes your product stand out over other ones because it's about you as much it's about the shirts. If not more, it's about you.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Thank you.
No problem at all. I'm glad I was able to help you. Any other questions or we'll be able to jump? Shayla, you got anything? No? Okay, cool, cool. Jordan?
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
You briefly talked about the ROI. I may have missed it because it's a fairly new concept to me, but
Yeah.
what
Yeah, let me
what
bring it
did
up
you
again.
say? What is worth it? What is like the right? You said at minimum it's a 1-to-1, but what would be like a good, more so like what would, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So another way to think about it, and like we could do an entire conversation on ROI, and I'm going to write about it soon for my newsletter. So that's why you should definitely sign up because I'm going to dig into it deeper. But so from a pure quantitative standpoint, you don't want to be losing money when you're spending into something. But with marketing, a part of it is also sometimes you take a loss because it's setting you up for a bigger build in the long run. So I do a lot of marketing that I spend money on that does not bring me immediate value, but I know qualitatively the contacts I'm building, the relationships I'm establishing, the experience I'm getting out of it is providing me with value. So for example, I spend money on my email marketing, a good amount on it, and a lot of time. Another thing to consider in your ROI is, like I said up here, non-monetary expenses. Or can you all see it, or you only see this one, the other one? Do you see the right one?
We're looking at the ROI.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
both.
one to consider is time and manpower. So a great way to evaluate your marketing tactics and how they're performing is how much time a week are we putting into this? How many people are going into this? And even though, like you and Nina both said, everyone wears all the hats and does this, add up how much people are putting their resources towards this tactic, and then look at the outcome a few weeks later, a month later, of what is coming out of it. Even if you can't get the quantitative value out of it, you can still look at it and say, wow, for all these hours we're putting into it, we're not like getting any customer contacts, or we're not developing things. You can set up your own metrics, but it's just good to think about these things. Then if it is a money thing where you are putting in money and you're looking to make money back, yes, this is a way to do it because you want 1-to-1. This example is not good because why would I continue to spend money on a tactic that I've been doing if I'm only going to get back half of what I spent? That means I'm going to lose money in the long term.
And then what would be your advice if we're kind of wanting to get like a lot of signage, for example, like super specifically, like signage, banners, table talkers,
Assets.
whatever that may be for retailers and for our markets. But in generally, like when you don't know the outcome of how, like what that's going to produce, how do you kind of assess that? And like, what would your advice be on things that you don't really know the outcome / maybe specifically signage / banners?
No, this is a fun one because, okay, let's use the model and let's talk it out, because you need to talk about and think of the bigger picture here, because you're talking tactics first when we need to start with the bigger picture and go from there. So if I had to assume the reason why you're going to use these assets, which are flyers, table talkers, etc., this is a tactic of placing physical collateral in retail locations to drive conversions and sales from people on site, correct? Cool. So that's your strategy. We're saying that. What's your objective? Because if you say what your objective is relating to that strategy, you're then going to be able to see if those tactics fulfill their goal. So an example of establishing a KPI or answer here could be, so one of the reasons why you would put physical collateral into a retail space where your product is being sold is awareness, that when people are walking around and they see it, they see something that makes your product stick out a little bit more than someone else on the shelf. You reference something, you say something, you have something that pops to them that makes them buy it. So I will do this: create the materials, place it make sure it's like optimized and strong where you need it to be. And then you need to check the sales numbers in a few months. And that is going to determine your ROI. So if you say, okay, we spent $1,000 on this material through all these locations and we placed them, then you need to add up how much money was made in all these locations from the beginning of the collateral being placed to when it was taken out. And then you'll be able to see, did we make money off of it or not? Because you could compare before you had signs, that duration, how much money you made, and then you can compare how much money you made after. And then you can add how much you spent on the materials, the time, the designer you paid, or you guys are in-house so you don't have to worry, but I would still count those hours. And then you can say, okay, we know that our physical collateral that we built out paid for itself or it brought us more business. So always start objective first. So our objective is to sell more of X in these locations. Did the tactic meet the goal? Because if you just say tactics, then why are we doing this? How are we evaluating it? It needs to always, that's why I really push you. Don't think tactic first, think objective first and how the tactic can help you with solving that. It's a tool for you.
That was really helpful. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Sometimes I'm like, I hope I'm not speaking too like over the top. Any last questions before we wrap? Anyone, don't be shy. And Joanne, I hope you didn't feel like I was taking any slights at social media. Yeah, I love social media. I don't want you to think it's bad.
No, not at all. Not
Just
at
a lot
all.
of people think it's like the solution to everything. And I like to.
I agree. I agree. It's only a part of it. It really, if it doesn't give you results, then it does not matter.
And also, it's something about, and here's the thing about social media, guys, and Joanna can speak to it. It's more about brand building and creating energy around your brand than driving conversions. That's why Instagram has shops now where you can directly sell and it works. It's there. But how often do you click out of Instagram and buy something? Not a lot of people do that. It's really about creating energy and just so much like back and forth with communities where people like your brand and you're further getting them to love your brand and engage with it, because your social media page is a person and you don't want to just be hard selling people on things. So think of social media as like really like that cool cousin that you get to hang out with and it's there. And then you're there to like do other things, but it's not about like the hard sell. So many people just promote their product, pictures of their product, promote their product, promote their product. It's got to be more than that. So thank you for understanding, Joanna.
No, that's fine. And I think the one thing that you've probably been pointing at so much throughout this whole thing, and that I tell people that I work with too, is that, you really need to measure the results. You need to measure it. If you're just pouring stuff out there into social media without, just kind of crossing your fingers, it's, you're going out there blindly, and it really, you're pouring all these hours of your precious time, not knowing if all the stuff that you're throwing out there is going to work. So
yeah,
couldn't agree more.
And for the projects you work on, I'm guessing, some of the key metrics that you and your businesses are looking at are probably like engagement rate and follower like counts as they go up.
Depending on the business, yes. So some of it may be engagement. Sometimes it doesn't matter, and it's all about impressions and whether they're making it to the profile. But it really does, going back to your previous point, what are the goals of your business, and how is social media going to play a role in to get to that goal? Yep,
you nailed it. We're going to collaborate. Well, definitely reach out to me and find me, because you will be a really good resource for some projects, because you're looking, and I like to work with different people as specialists like yourself. Okay, cool. Anything else before we jump, anyone? 3pts.co is my website. Like I said, sign up. And if you want to do a one-on-one with me to go through your tactics, family included as well, I am here. Let me know, and we can book 30 minutes, everyone. Cool. Thanks, Brian.
Oh, no, thank you. Wow. Wow is all I can say. That was great. I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. And again, thank you so much, Kim, for this amazing presentation. And thank you to all of you for giving us your time today. Again, this workshop will be available on our website in the coming weeks. You can head over to madeinbaltimore.org to check out some of our previous workshops, which also include workshops from the man, the myth himself, Kim Robinson. Thank you to our parent agency, Baltimore Development Corporation. And again, thank you all. I wish you all nothing but the most success in all of your business ventures. And if you are a manufacturer, a retailer, a makerspace, or production space in the city of Baltimore, you are more than welcome to apply for a certification at madeinbaltimore.org. We would love to have you. All right, guys.